Everything you need to know before Little Nightmare 3. With over 7 years of lore, an audio fiction series, and several comics, you could argue that Little Nightmares is quite daunting to get into. I won't be covering the original print comics as the canonicity is debatable. Little Nightmares 1. The story begins with Six, a young girl waking up from a nightmare where she encounters a mysterious masked woman. She finds herself inside a suitcase inside the dark, ominous depths of a massive vessel known as the Maw. With only a lighter to guide her, she begins her escape, navigating the dark shadows and avoiding dangerous creatures like the leeches. No. Her journey leads her to the children's prison, guarded by the janitor. During her escape, Six feels her first pangs of hunger, which are alleviated when a boy offers her a piece of bread. What a nice guy! As she continues her escape, Six once again grows weak from hunger. This time, she finds meat in a cage and eats it, unaware that it is a trap set by the janitor. Wow, Six, you really fell for that. Captured and taken to his lure, Six manages to break free. After several tense encounters with the janitor, she outwits him by trapping his arms in a door, ultimately severing them. Her journey next takes her to the kitchen where hunger strikes for a third time. Desperate, she consumes a live rat, which is ironic because we find a room full of food. In this area, Six must evade the twin chefs, who are busy preparing extravagant meals for the Maw's upcoming feast. After several close calls, Six narrowly escapes by riding a meat hook conveyor, leaving the frustrated chefs behind. Soon after, Six reaches the Maw's exterior and climbs its railings to access the guest area, where she witnesses the arrival of the grotesque guests. They march inside to attend the feast, observed by the same masked woman from Six's nightmare. As the guests indulge in an endless feast, some notice Six and attempt to catch her. In a chaotic chase, the guests surge after her, but Six manages to escape by swinging to safety on a fucking lantern. God, I love this game. However, hunger strikes once again. This time, a friendly gnome offers her a sausage. How nice of him, and oh my god, he's eating him instead. In the final stretch of her journey, Six follows the lady into her private quarters. She sneaks past as the lady hums to herself while gazing into a broken mirror. After finding a key, Six draws the lady's attention, sparking a chase. In a room filled with shattered mirrors, Six discovers an unbroken one, which she uses to deflect the light and weaken the lady. With the lady defenseless, Six's hunger returns. Without hesitation, she bites right into the lady's neck, consuming her power. Six walks through the Maw, her head held high, draining the life force from any guests in her path. As she reaches the exit, the sound of a boat's horn signals her rescue is near. Secrets of the Maw. A new character known as the Runaway Kid is introduced into the game. Sure hope nothing bad happens to him. The story begins with the Runaway Kid having a nightmare where he is swimming, only to be dragged underwater by a large menacing arm. Waking up from this dream, he escapes the children's room that serves as their prison. He follows a girl holding a flashlight. Through trailing her, the kid escapes the prison and enters the depths. However, the girl disappears, leaving her flashlight behind. Or maybe she's on the brink of death and we've just taken her only light source. In the flooded sewers, he encounters the Granny, a creature who lives in the depths and drags her victims underwater. The Granny chases the boy onto a wooden platform, but he manages to defeat her by pushing a television into the water, ultimately killing her. For the first time, Runaway Kid is finally safe. He climbs up a nearby ladder and is immediately captured by the janitor, who puts him in a cage and sends him to the kitchen. I wish I could say it gets better for you, bro. In the second chapter, the kid breaks free from the package being transported via hooks to the kitchen, only to fall deeper into the Maw. He lands in the furnace area that powers the entire vessel. In this cute little puzzle, the kid must gather the gnomes who work in the furnace and use them to fuel the fire in the heart of the Maw. This activates the coal conveyor in the upper levels. After completing this task, the kid finds himself on top of an elevator, inside of which the lady is standing. Also, we have to sneak past a janitor in the dark, which wasn't terrifying at all. The third chapter sees the kid entering the residence, where we must collect statues that act as keys to unlock the way out. He explores the library, avoiding the eye and the annoying-ass shadow kids in order to find them. We then encounter the lady, who is staring at her reflection in a mirror with a look of horror on her face. She notices the kid and after a brief chase, uses her powers to turn him into a gnome. This is what I get for breaking in your sleeping quarters and murdering half your children? How dare you! Now transformed, the kid wanders into the guest area where he eventually finds a sausage on the floor. In this chilling revelation, it becomes clear that the Runaway Kid is the very same gnome who Six consumes to satisfy her hunger. In a post-credit scene, a television flickers to life, showing the silhouette of a man for a brief moment, teasing the events of the second game. The girl in the yellow raincoat, not to be confused with Six, wakes up in the mansion known as the Nest. She crosses paths with the craftsman but manages to escape by hiding in a box, which is transported by elevator to the domain of the butler, a monster with telekinetic abilities. The girl successfully eludes him and takes refuge in the chambers of the Pretender, a spoiled young girl in control of the Nest. Eventually we reach the exit, but the butler spots her and gives chase, until they encounter the Pretender once again. The second girl hurls a boulder at her, but she rises rises unharmed and attacks. Both of them fall into the ocean, drowning. In a post-credit scene, it is revealed that the girl in white was actually 6 all along. She is seen running to a raft on which she eventually floats away. Little Nightmares 2. The story follows a boy called Mono who wakes up from a dream about an ominous door. He stumbles upon the hunter's shack and rescues 6. The hunter chases the duo through the wilderness, cornering them in a shed, but they manage to shoot him with a shotgun. Using a wooden door as a makeshift raft, Mono and 6 arrive at the Pale City. Mono and 6 arrive at the school, where they are separated when 6 is captured by a gang of bullies. Mono goes on a murderous rampage until he rescues 6, and together they escape the long-necked teacher in this insane vent chase sequence. Once outside, they find a yellow raincoat. After that, they enter the hospital inhabited by patients and the doctor. They defeat the doctor by trapping him in an incinerator. Toasty. Thin Man, the big bad, emerges from one of the televisions and kidnaps 6. Mono tracks him down, and in an epic showdown, Mono takes off his mask and goes head-to-head with the Thin Man, finishing him off once and for all. Inside the signal tower, Mono finds 6, now transformed into whatever this is, before returning to her normal self when Mono breaks her music box. As the signal tower collapses, the pair is chased by a massive flesh-like entity. We're so close, but right as we're about to escape, 6 lets Mono fall into a chasm and leaves through a portal. As time passes, Mono becomes the Thin Man. The camera pulls back, leaving Mono trapped in the same hallway from his dream, as the door closes behind him. In the post-credit scene, 6 encounters the shadow version of herself, who points to a picture of the Moor, confirming that Little Nightmares 2 is a prequel. 6 digital comics were released alongside Little Nightmares 2. 6 narrowly escapes the hunter, but after being distracted by Mono, she gets caught. A boy wakes up from a nightmare in the wilderness before being pulled into a television. A little girl trapped in a cell within the hospital starts digging through a floor in an attempt to escape. The comic ends with the girl being caught by the doctor. A boy uses a lollipop to fight the bullies until he is cornered by the teacher. A kid scavenges for food, helping an injured rat before being caught by the viewers. Various children are trapped in the burning building. An enormous hand picks them off one by one, while Mono is cornered by the Thin Man. The Sounds of Nightmares follows a girl suffering from dreams that take place in the world of Little Nightmares. She is sent to a psychiatric institute, but as their sessions progress, her counselor realizes that the dreams are actually real, and that his sister suffered the same fate. In an attempt to save his sister, he hooks her up to a machine. This podcast revealed a few things, one being that the world of Little Nightmares is called the Nowhere, a place only accessible through dreams, and that the quote-unquote real world is called the Counties. It also brought back the Ferryman, a character from the original print comics, who almost acts like a gatekeeper between the real world and the Nowhere.